This is like a tech check.
Yeah,
We're
please say
hearing
hello.
me.
You're
Please put
alive.
your alive. Please put your name on the chat and where you're coming from so we can get started here and make sure that everybody can hear us and we're good to go. So please put it on the chat so we know that you can hear us. You're gonna have to wait.
We're gonna have to wait. Do, 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 do. Hi. Okay, awesome. Hey,
Hi,
Paula.
Paula.
All right.
You can hear us. All right, so let me kick things off over here. Um, if you don't have a seatbelt, please get one because this is going to be a packed live training. This is an interaction that we're going to be doing. And let me break down why we ask you to be 100% present here, not for Liz and I. It's for yourself. When you're 100% present, be where your feet is at, you gain the most out of it. And that's what we want for you. What we have prepared here, we want to change, make a transformation in your business. So it's super important that you're 100% present and that you're interacting with us here on the live chat. This is not a passive uh, training. If that's what you're looking for, it might not be the right one for you. So let's get started here. Liz, what people can expect from today's training?
Awesome. So here's our agenda. And as Angessa said, this is going to be interactive. We're going to be asking you questions, asking you to go into the chat and engage with us. So our agenda is going to be three things. Number one, we're going to talk about stop the bleeding and what that looks like and how important data is as we're regaining time back. And we'll make those connections for you during the presentation. Number two is we're going to stop from linear thinking. And here's what we want to encourage you to start thinking about: replacing or with and we'll go into more of that in a bit. And then number three is all about analyzing your real return on investment. So many investors talk about financial ROI. We're going to be talking about your time ROI and what that looks like and why that's so important. And at the end, we're going to be sharing a simple free tool to talk about where you are potentially wasting some time and how to gain more time back for the things that matter. So get ready and have a pencil, engage with what we're going to be discussing. And thank you for being here.
If you're like Liz, get a pencil. If you're like me, you have an open tab that you can type.
I actually have a pencil. Can I just show everyone? This is a pencil. Okay. So I love making Angessa crazy. Okay. So the first question we'd love for you to answer in the chat box is, what is one area of your finances or your business where you feel like money might be slipping through the cracks, if you will? And so we listed 6 examples here. We'd love for you to encourage you to use 1 through 6 here. So 1's construction or construction budgets, 2 being property management fees, 3 being tech tools or subscriptions, 4 is team members or even contractors, 5 is all the financing costs, which money costs a lot these days. And number 6 is vacancies or even turning around your apartment slowly or that type of time.
So let's use the chat in order to start in the interaction. So you can pick as many as you want here or say one that is, if it is missing. Shaya, rehab budgets. Wells, Lisa, Paula, what do you think?
Yeah, we're going to call on your names.
Calling names. I'm going to call
all
the names. I'm going to go through the list.
1 and 4. Thank you, Jacqueline. Good to have
Paula,
you on here.
read the question, Paula. I'm not going to repeat the question, Paula. Jacqueline, 1 and 4. All right. Construction budget. So construction, it's one common one over here. It's very important for us to have a sense of where do you believe the cracks or the holes are here. All right. So keep that in mind. That's the first time to understand here the surface level, what areas, and if you don't know those here, take a screenshot of those because those are where usually the cracks are. We're tracking our renovations, Jacqueline. Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Yeah, that's the key.
All right.
Okay. So before we move forward, we want to share how we used to look at time because that's important and how time is played into our history. So around the same time that we started InvestHer, my husband and I had a successful portfolio, a real estate portfolio, obviously. But I felt like something was missing. You ever have that? Like you have all the check boxes in your life, but something's missing. And for me, I felt like I didn't have a place any longer in the business that I quite honestly built with my husband. And it was almost like time was passing and it was passing me by a bit, which felt very uncomfortable for me. And it left me craving something more, not more as in more doors or more money, but more purpose, right? And more alignment that I could really dive into. And I began to realize something. Took me quite some time, right? And just things take us sometimes into our 30s, 40s,
Yeah.
50s. But I started to realize that time wasn't about just achieving building success by other people's definition, by more doors, more passive income, more fill in the blank. It was about aligning what was important to me and my time with what I felt like was important and what I valued, right? My values, my vision. And that's not what everyone else does. So it felt a little uncomfortable, but that's really what was such the foundation for the work that we're doing with an investor and with all of you. And that was my first experience of really embracing time and aligning it with what was important to me.
And it was funny because when we started Investor, it was at the same time that I was going through a divorce, and Liz and I had a conversation about time. Maybe this is not the
Yeah.
best time. And I'm like, this is the best time, and that's how it's supposed to be. So went through a divorce, had to sell my entire portfolio, rebuild my entire life. But this time I got to choose how I wanted to do it. What did I really value in my life? Did I want to still have 15 projects going on all at the same time? That did not fulfill my soul anymore. So, although real estate is the vehicle that I chose in order to build wealth, it's not who I am. And I don't want my life to be consumed by real estate. I want real estate to allow me to buy my time back so I can spend doing whatever the hell I want with whomever I want as often I want. And that's what success is all about. So if you look around us here, those are very simple things in life that we enjoy doing it. And that's how we build InvestHer. Our mission is to continuing supporting women to buy back their time and build wealth on their own terms. We have a community of over 50,000 women, and we are continually growing. And every step that we do, time became the most important thing for all of us. How can we buy back our time? Where is your time going? Because that's our biggest asset. So let's get started here with one thing. I came across this concept, buy now, right? Many women, because of history, society, you name it, right? We feel that we should be doing X, Y, and Z by now. So I want you to share on the chat what's coming up for you. What is your buy now? Where do you think you should be right now? Like literally, don't, it's a safe place. We're not here to judge you. But for example, I should have X amount of passive income by now. I should have grown my real estate portfolio to X doors by now. I should have quit my 9 to 5 job by now.
Yeah.
I
Should have been, that's a good one, Gina. Gina should have been done flipping this home and working on another by now. Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. Ladies, what else? We want to make sure you're here, you're alive. We're not talking to bots. I hope not. All right. We should have been out of that by now and gotten a flip by now. Should have started by now. Focus on passion, real estate and brand versus building brands for clients. Access to private money capital by now, right? It's a lot of pressure when we think about that. And what we encourage you to do is to really flip that. Thank you for sharing. All great. Should have cash flow by now. I should have found my first flip by now. I should have quit my 9 to 5 by now. I should have gotten capital partners by now. All of that, right? We were shoved that. And what I encourage you to shift is to switch by now to right now. What do you need right now? So let's say I want to quit my 9 to 5 job. Where should I focus my time right now in order to be able to quit my job? Oh, I need to find capital partners. Where should I focus my time right now in order to attract capital partners? Do I need skills? Do I need knowledge? Do I need an audience? What do I need right now? Because that shifts your energy and your focus on an action mode versus the blaming. Okay, I really encourage all of you to start thinking and start drawing what's coming up for you as we are going through. Take those things, drop that down, because that's going to be what's going to really click for you moving forward, because we need to acknowledge the buy now in order for us to be able to do what we need to do right now.
Yeah, and Justin and I say a lot to our women in our community, and just say a lot to each other. It's about moving the needle. So right now creates that momentum around just moving the needle, right? Not building a house in one day, but moving the needle in an intentional way.
Because our brains don't know if you're completing a full project or if you're just making a call to a lender. It's progress.
Right.
And you're going to
we want more of it.
Your body. When you make progress, you don't need to run a marathon. Go around the block 5 minutes. That's what I got to do today. One step at a time. And that builds momentum.
Yes.
All right. So how can we stop bleeding, Liz? How can we stop bleeding?
I don't know about you, but I have an 8-year-old, an 11-year-old. And if they're bleeding, I'm not thinking about step 3, 4, and 5. I'm thinking about stopping the bleeding, right? So that's what we're going to start with here. And if you've ever heard the term, we probably made it up, but silent expenses. And it's really looking at where are there silent expenses in your current portfolio, in your current activity. Because every time you waste a potential dollar, it could be costing you other things. And it will allow you to buy your time back when you start to be aware of where is there a where are there holes in that ship, if you will.
It's so like the toilet situation. Every single drop.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's a drop, but at the end of the month, your water bill is going to be super high. It's the same thing with your business.
That's right. That's why preventative maintenance, right? Just if you own property, is critical, because your tenants don't care if the toilet is running, but you do. Okay, so let's talk about recurring expenses. Such an interesting one when you think about recurring expenses, right? This could be subscriptions that you have. Something popped up on my phone yesterday, and I'm like, I've never heard of this company. I just spent $70 on this recurring expense. Never heard of the company. So that's my to-do. But these are subscriptions. These are payments to contractors that are recurring. We often have that set up. We have other things that are set up that are just literally being debited from our account. Could even be fees, property management fees. So I'll say this to people, and I think I've said this to you, Andressa. Oh, it's not a big deal. It's just $50. Well, think about it. $50 a month equals some simple math, right? $600 a year. Now, if you had 5 particular subscriptions that are not useful to you anymore, that's $3,000 that you can save. So think about those recurring expenses, that recurring costs, if you will, that you could probably nip in the bud. And those are kind of the one action you could take for stopping the bleeding. Let's talk about decision debt. And this is really all about unresolved choices. I don't know about you, and I'm sure none of you can relate to this, but there are decisions that are in front of you to make, and you're not making them. You're delaying them for a lot of reasons, right, Andressa? We delay them for...
Gotta get that right.
Got to get it right. We delay it for not hurting someone else's feeling. We're not sure the impact of our decision that's going to be made on another person. Other people are delaying it because it's too much to deal with, and they'd rather just keep doing what they're doing. A lot of reasons, right? Yeah, delay for information overload, Christine, exactly. But we have these delays. And every time we delay a decision, I know this from my own life, whenever I've delayed a decision, I'm paying for it in another way. I am paying for it. I'm paying for it with wasted time. I'm paying for it with a missed opportunity and everything in
Compound.
between. What's that?
Compound. A compound interest, making a deposit on a high yield savings account, for example, open up that account, put $50 there. That would be much better than put nothing, right? It's the compound effect as well.
And then if you're delaying one decision and then you start delaying other ones in other areas of your life, you feel could be overwhelmed, kind of sets in, right? So we're going to teach you a term and a tool called decision dashboard, right? And what this looks like is you're going to list out all of your unresolved decisions. And I want you to start with the one that's keeping you up at night. The one that that's making you feel awake like 3 a.m. in the morning. We all know those decisions. So start with that, but you want to make a list of those unresolved decisions. The second thing you want to do is actually assign a deadline. Something beautiful about deadlines, right, Angessa? And her and I will talk about different decisions. And sometimes we always put deadlines, but if there's one that we miss, I'm like, I need a deadline. I just can't operate without a deadline, or I'll do it in 2 months. They'll procrastinate that in 2 months. So assign a deadline. There's something magical that happens when we assign a deadline to these decisions, unresolved decisions. Third thing we encourage you to do is to commit. We want you to commit to making one decision per day, so you can clear this backlog, because some of you might have a backlog. And the key is to just start building the muscle of making decisions, because this is going to help you stop the bleeding and stop the procrastination, which often adds to the stress, right? And then share that on the community of where are you creating more time, more mental clarity, so you can move forward. Because it costs us. It costs us in a lot of different ways, especially our mental energy. So that's decision debt, right? We want to replace that with decision dashboard and really getting deadlines to the unresolved matters in our world. The third thing here is that so many investors, and Justin and I've seen this in the many, many years that we've been mentoring women, coaching women through our Strive program, and women in general, is that they often will start to analyze what they have, right? Which is so important, but they just look at it in like, okay, this property or this project. And we want you to go one step further and really start breaking down your projects, if you will, by door or unit versus property. We were on a call a few weeks ago, and what we'll find is that a woman was sharing a little bit about a project and a building, and we started asking questions, and it started to show her that one of the units was actually thriving and the other unit was tanking the building, but it wasn't both of them. So the key is to really be mindful of and to look at, okay, what is the specific unit doing for me in terms of performance, time, money, energy? And then you start to dissect it in that way, where then you're able to make changes, adaptations, even change your strategy. Some women have changed from like a long-term tenant to maybe a short-term tenant. So it really matters when you do it by door and by unit, more specific versus general. So that's just another key piece to when you're stopping the bleeding. All right. So how I saved $12,000 now with one simple change. So this is one of our buildings in New Jersey. Anyone from New Jersey, always give a shout out to New Jersey, because I love Jersey people and Andressa doesn't. No, I'm joking. So we started with 2 buildings on the street in New Jersey in a little town called Ewing. And we grew the portfolio to 20 doors. Okay. So it was actually 5 buildings. And what was really interesting was that our maintenance expenses were tanking us like every month. It was getting to the point where it was even higher than the mortgage we were paying on the portfolio. And that's odd, right? Where your maintenance expenses are your highest expense. And we started looking at the gentleman who worked for us. He was visiting our Pennsylvania properties and our New Jersey properties. Well, he was going to these properties 7 days a week. Now, it wasn't because of emergencies. He was just going there when somebody called. He just went and helped them and fixed the item. So we're like, okay, what if we shifted his schedule? and just had him go Tuesdays and Thursdays, unless it was an emergency. And obviously, you can avoid those things. And then he visited our Pennsylvania properties Monday, Wednesday. Friday was a buffer day. And let's try that schedule. And why is he even working on Saturdays and Sundays? We did that one thing. Very simple, right? Just changed his schedule. And it ended up saving us $1,000 a month, which equated to $12,000 in a year. Just that one shift. And so that's what we want to encourage you to think about, is what one thing can I do, one change to really make a bigger difference.
Many times we're so used to the recurring expenses that we're not curious. We stop being curious.
Oh, that's a key word.
We stop being curious. What do I mean by that? Very specifically, your cell phone bill, your internet bill, any software that you use, property management software, QuickBooks, CRM, any software to manage any projects that you currently have. Many times you are paying for items that you are not using it, and that adds things up. So once in a year, I always do like a little audit to see, do I really need this? Should I downgrade it? I don't need this. Why am I paying for it? And it piles up. So be curious. Be very curious. Property management company. I am allergic to lump sum. I like breakdown because I need to know where the money is going. Because many times you don't know that your maintenance charges $75 to figure it out, how to unlock the garbage disposal that got stuck, right? So you don't need to do that. There's other better options for that. So I really want you guys to be curious about your own recurring expenses moving forward. Only you know that. So, excuse me, where, based on what you're saying to me here, when you're hearing me saying, where do you still think, many of you mentioned construction? Do you still think that that's where the money is going, or you change your minds? Now you're curious about other things. How many of you feel that you have a pulse on your recurring, and how many now became curious? Now you're like a little, I need to double check that. Put it on the chat for us. I really want to, as you guys put it on the chat, I want to highlight something about construction that can really, it's very simple, and you can start getting back on track. Every time that you have a purchase or a receipt, immediately you pay for it online or in person. Immediately you need to do something with this receipt. You need to label it correctly, what house it is, and put it inside the folder or send it to your CPA or bookkeeper. Just that alone, instead of putting in your purse and then forgetting, what the hell is this? What's this for? What property is this for? That will be life-saving in terms of time. All right, so let's continue. Shift from linear thinking. Here's what happens. We were told by many people that we need to wholesale, and then you go to flips, and then you go to rehabs. And then if you graduate in real estate university, you go to commercial. And then maybe you will be a private lender one day, right? I don't know who created that, but that does not serve us. And that's what we're breaking it. The mindset of linear thinking, meaning, oh, once I sell this house, then I will have the money to invest in this project. We want to expand your mind and say, how can I keep this rental and raise private money to buy the second one? Because the numbers are there. How can I get involved in commercial real estate despite my level of experience in residential? Because that doesn't matter much when you're talking real estate, commercial.
Right.
Okay, so keep in mind that's what we are looking to do. So when you think about the freedom wheel flywheel, we have three very important pieces. And the first one is the burgundy one, active cash flow. And I don't want you to think about the second, neither the third one, if the first one is not in place. So active cash flow are all your portfolio that are producing. You need to understand they all need to stand on their own. They all need to stand on their own. Otherwise, you have a bleeding situation happening that is preventing you from going to the next phase. So let's consider that you already have a portfolio and now you're looking to scale. Before you do that, we want to encourage you to optimize. And what do I mean by optimization? Did you squeeze the juice out of the properties as much as you could or not? Give you examples of it. Are you able to add value, reduce costs, increase cash flow without having to buy another property? How? Are you able to add an ADU? Laundry. Can you We heard this in that InvestorCon 2025. Pamela Bardi, she rents her backyard for dog walkers, $500 per month in there. If you have a commercial, can you put a cell phone tower, a charging station, anything that you can increase your cash flow is super important.
Yeah. Something I did in those buildings I shared earlier was in
Mm,
small multis, people, you don't have a laundry room because it's 4 units, right? You don't warrant that, but we had 20 units on that street. So we put coin operated machines in most of the buildings. And I love that because I love cash, probably because I'm Italian. But minus that, that's when we collected the cash on trust. So she's like, oh my
yeah.
God. Talk about lack of efficiency. But the bottom line was there was a way to increase, right? Our it was a couple $100 a month just by unit. It was a great return on investment.
So it's always looking to, okay, how can I reduce the cost and increase cash flow? And I really, if your brain is saying, oh, I don't think there's anything that I can do there, you're limiting yourself. I really encourage you to connect with other women at investor community and say, what would you do with this situation here? How would you optimize what you are seeing that I am not seeing here? Because if you already say, I think I'm fine, be curious. Be curious. Maybe you can increase your cash flow and decrease your expenses without having to start buying another property. And I would not encourage you to start buying anything else without optimization, stabilization first. Otherwise, you are just scaling chaos. The third one is the vertical integration, right? Every time that you increase your cash flow, every time that I increase my cash flow, I fire myself. Not because I did something wrong, because I earned the right to fire myself from a position. You want to fire yourself from self-managing. You want to fire yourself from being the one buying the finishes. You want to fire yourself from any single position you currently do. Because that's why you are investing in real estate. Okay? So when you are thinking about other people that take your place, that's where vertical integration happens. And if you put those three things in place, that's how you achieve financial freedom. But let's go to the next slide. Let's say, well, Andressa, but I'm not there yet. How can I start a vertical integration now as I'm still active? I'll give you an example here. So this is a 3 townhouses that we built ground up, shovel ready, that we did a vertical integration. What do we mean by that? We leverage our skills, our time within the team. So Liz was the hunter. She was the person who found the deal through our architect, and she brought the deal to the table. So she passed the baton. Once that was done, great, let's get that under contract. She passed the baton to Matt. Matt was the orchestrator that was responsible for the financing. And this was a very interesting way that we financed. We brought zero out of our pockets, and we had a private money lender that was in second lien position, and a traditional finance was in first lien position. And the private money lender, because he was in second lien position, he also got a little bit of the equity in the property in return for the risk that he was taking. Long story short, we sold and then it came to me when it came down to the construction piece. So Liz was out. She fired herself at the beginning. She came back at the end when we were hiring the realtor. Matt, once he was done with the financing, he was out. The ball was in my court to get the project up and running and sold. Sold in 10 months, pre-sold before it was done. And you always want to hear from the private money lender, how can I continue rolling my money with you? So vertical integration, you can think about buying back your time. So you can buy back your time partnering up with other people. You are bringing your experience, your cash, anything to the table. Anything that you bring to the table, you are leveraging, and that is the ultimate goal. So right now, do you see possibilities to optimize what you currently have? Meaning, where in your project you feel that you can decrease expenses and increase rent? Adding an ADU, laundromat. What are you guys seeing it? I want to see if you guys are alive over here. I'll stop talking. Like, I want to make sure you guys are alive. If you're alive, you got to put your information on the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to understand that this is stuck in the black hole and we are talking to nobody.
Yeah, there you go. Turning your long-term tenant into a midterm rental. That strategy shift is absolutely optimization play. Makes my spare space of storage.
Absolutely, Amy. I have turned my new long-term rental vacancies into MTRs. Nice, Paula. We talked about it.
Yeah.
That's great. And it's all about trying it. There's no right or wrong decisions, ladies. There's only the best decision based on the information that you currently have right now. And think about that decision as a pilot. I'm going to pilot, see how it works. Either I get results or I get experience. And that's the ultimate goal. There's no bad decisions in real estate. You are going to move along, move the needle forward based on the information that you currently have. And that's the best that you can do.
And really think about this too, as we transition. You're creating the opportunity to rinse and repeat. So much of optimization is to compound time is really about rinsing and repeating. It should be a little boring because you're doing it. You could do it to proof of concept. You can do over and over again and replicate. That's where we also compound time. Yeah. All right. So here's what we want to look at. Number 3 is analyzing the real return on your investment. So I don't know about you, but we often hear, that time is our biggest asset. Would you agree with that? Yeah. Andressa, would you agree with that? Sure. It is our biggest asset. And it's also the most wasted. We waste it all the time, right? It's something that's so fleeting, so meaningful, yet so fleeting for so many people. They waste it on a host of things, right? So let's really talk about where your time is going. And so many times in the real estate arena, we talk about what's your passive income, what's your financial return on your investment. And that's important, right? We don't want to ignore that. We're real estate investors, right? We're trying to increase our financial futures. That's why we're here. And obviously our strengthen our investments and pass a legacy on to our children, right? That's why we're here. However, looking just at our financial return will limit us as investors. And so we really want to encourage you to look at your time ROI just as much as your financial ROI. So what does that look like? every hour, every time you're doing something either on low level activity or even higher level activity, it's taking from your future growth. It's taking from maybe something else that you want to spend your time doing. And at the core of what we do, Andressa and I, what we believe is that this is about creating the life you desire, creating life on your own terms. So how do you look at, you really, really analyze your time? Couple ways to do that. We're gonna give you a few steps. So if you've never done this exercise, or even if you have done this exercise, we want you to do it again or do it for the first time, because this really, really puts the light on, okay, what is my real time ROI? So number one, we want you to encourage you to calculate your hourly rate. So how you get that is you take your annual income goal and you divide it by your actual hours worked. Okay, so that's pretty simple, but that's what you're going to get your hourly rate. Number
Hey,
two,
Liz,
yeah,
before you do that,
sure.
I want to give people an example, because many
Yeah,
times we are not putting our time into the spreadsheet, right? So people are self-managing and you're not putting the
that's huge. Yeah,
time there.
yeah,
You're valuing your time as zero. And you're never going to be able to fire, because nobody's going to work for free for you in the future, right? So you can determine, Amy, absolutely. Then clean on us. That's awesome. Here's what we encourage you to look at, right? Jay Scott, who wrote a couple of books for Bigger Pockets, he gave a very specific example one time to evaluate the cost of our time. He was at a rehab job and the contractor needed a bunch of nails. The price of nails was about like $45, something like that. So they had an option. Contractor, get into the truck, go to Home Depot or Lowe's, get the nails and come back. How much would that cost? It was about 45 minutes from the job site. So think about 45 come back, and the person is not working at the job site, right? Thought about that. Well, Jay already crossed that it was not the best use of his time, because he valued his time at a specific amount per hour, and I don't remember what exactly was his number. And you can put the number that you feel that you are valued. It's just for shits and giggles. There's no attachment
yeah,
on it, right? Just for practice. And below that value, he would not put any time. Neither the contractor. And then we're like, okay, an assistant that they paid $30 an hour, was that worth it? The time for them to go there, spend gas, time, get the freaking package or not? Or would be worth it to pay $45 to be delivered? They decided that it would be ridiculous to pay $45 to be delivered. That being that being said, in theory, that was ridiculous. But in the math, that was the best option for them. So everybody could continue doing what they were doing, got it delivered, nobody wasted their time. The reason why I'm saying this to you is that many times we believe we're saving time and we're costing. We're costing our company a lot of time. We are in a global world where we can get a lot of things done if we are, again, curious about how much time. We need to value ourselves. This is about valuing
yeah,
ourselves, but you're not going to do that until you really realize how much you're costing your own growth by doing it.
yeah.
I do not see anybody that is financially free that is continually doing the things that they did in the past. You got to fire yourself as you go along. So this, don't get attached to the value. It's just for practicing. Okay. So
Yeah.
you have a bench line.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great example. So once you've got your hourly rate, we want to encourage you to actually compare that rate to what you're doing. And that's managing tenants. That's chasing small deals, right? Taking on new projects. And all of those things are not created equal. If you are at the helm of your business, reaching out to a new lender is a good use of your time. That's a valuable right? Task, if you will. Managing a maintenance request is important, but is it something you should be doing? So you want to constantly say, based on the rate that I've established, that in step number one, what am I doing? And is there something that needs to shift? And that's really the work to do, because if you're not doing that, you're going to just keep doing what you're doing. Andressa, I hear it all the time too, with people saying, well, that just takes me 5 minutes. Not a big deal. That just takes me a few minutes. Well,
Sure.
if you add up the small, meaningless things that take you 5 minutes, it doesn't take you 5 minutes, right? So we need to stop with the
Versus
knee-jerk.
40 years.
Yeah, exactly. So after you've looked at what you're comparing your rate to what you're actually doing, I want you to identify not 20 things, not 5 things, just identify 1 or 2 things, a task, a deal, a system that's actually costing you more time than they're worth, right? That's what you're evaluating, and make a plan to either delegate it, cut it out, or simplify. I know and this is work to be done. I know this is sometimes seems like so simple, but this is really important work to do. And Andressa and I did this. We've done this many times. We both have done this personally. We've done this together. And one area that we did it was, we often think, what happened? What was life before ChatGPT? Andressa.
We always say, what the hell we were thinking.
So the early days of the Investor podcast, as you know, we've been podcasting now, 8 years, and have over 500 episodes. And early on, I wrote not only did we interview the guests, found the guests, all of those things, but I wrote all the show notes, obviously before ChatGPT, and Andressa edited every single episode. Now, you'd be thinking, oh yeah, they just did this for 5 episodes, 10 episodes, 15 episodes. No, we did this for 100 episodes. We did this for quite some time. And when we stopped at that point, we said, we're operating, right, as though we are our own $20 an hour assistants. What are we doing? Let's figure this out. And it took a step forward in our business. And at that point in our community to say, we need to buy our time back here. And we did. And we've never looked back, right?
Never look back. And that's the fun part. We never look back, and there's no regret.
Oh man, a little bit now, Jugget. But you take steps forward, and you're able to start buying your time back small, and then it leads to larger things. So the question for all of you, okay, because we want to help you move the needle. This isn't just talking and sharing stories, right? This is about you doing the work to move the needle in your business and your financial future. That's what we stand for. That's why Andressa and I are both here today with all of you. So what are the 2 tasks you want to delegate, like today, like you should have done it yesterday?
I'm going to be calling names. Amy, what are you talking about? Angela, April, Ursula, Carol, Christine, Denise, Gina. I'm going to be calling people.
Jacqueline,
Leslie, Lisa, Paula.
We see you. We're going to come to your houses.
China, I would like you to, there you go. I like when people are alive.
So what one task, come over to my house, Paula, that'll be a long trip. Bookkeeping.
Amy, that's awesome. And where do you need to fire yourself? Like, let's use those terms. Where do you want to fire yourself so you can get more time?
Christine's asking a great question, and Andressa and I might have 2 different perspectives.
We will answer that another time, because I have a couple of things here, but I have the answer for that, Christine. And we're going to break that down, why people struggle so much on delegating. And first, I want to ask you this question based on this, what is your hourly rate? Is it less than $8 per hour? I want you to answer that for me. Because if it is $8 an hour, there's no excuse for you to delegate that immediately. All right. Come over to my house. Paula, you're funny, honey. Paula, what we're going to fire yourself from? Gina, yes. Liz and I did fire ourselves after we fire ourselves from podcasting. Bookkeeping was the other part that we fire ourselves. Liz was doing the bookkeeping. I don't know again what we were thinking, right? And I cannot tell you. Sometimes things cost much more than what we really think. Okay? That is game changer, Gina. Shia, bookkeeping. I encourage all of you to fire bookkeeping. You will never regret that. Hire someone to take over a task for us. Jacqueline, what is your hourly rate? Tell me, what is your hourly rate? Right here, we're trying to buy your time back so you can increase your cash flow. That is the key here. Cleaning my house. What is your hourly rate? Ursula? Carol? Carol, let one day we'll clone ourselves and send ourselves to the DMV. Absolutely. Carol is financially free, so that's why she's able to be at the DMV. Oh, April, really looking to my management company. I might need to switch. Be curious, April, and let us know if you need support. I need a manager to the managers. I have 5 PMs and always chasing after them. Amy, absolutely. Absolutely. Fire yourself from that position. Have somebody on your hip doing what you're doing. Let them see what you're doing and give yourself 2 months, fire yourself from this position.
April, yeah,
Bookkeeping.
April, just a recommendation for in the Facebook community, post your question and tag us, because we know that's the whole point of this community is about connection. And if you even tell us we're in Texas, we both know people that we can recommend of who knows who. So definitely tag us in the Facebook community. We'll support you on that.
Absolutely. Paula,
All
I
right.
did bookkeeping and she's great, but having making mistakes. Paula, this is such an important opportunity for you to level up what your leadership skills. If you want to be successful in real estate, you have to be able to have difficult conversations. A great book, write it down, ladies. How to Have Difficult Conversations by Susan Scott. Dissect that, has a script. Have those conversations, game changer. Now you guys flooded the.
Jacqueline, I want to make a quick point just before we move on is about, and I know you had a question earlier, and then you're asking about the delegating in your 9 to 5. Delegation is also a muscle, right? And we're going to talk a lot about that. And it's not just I have to delegate this major project to someone. I delegate things in a personal way, and we'll give more examples of that. So it's about building a muscle. That's what we want you to think about. And we'll get into that more specifically as we continue on. But that's
I
the
want to talk
thinking.
about another concept, right? Sometimes it's a big deal to delegate the whole thing. So I'm going to talk about fractional delegation. What does that mean? You delegate part of the process. So I want all of you to think about how can you delegate part of what you're doing. It does not need to be the whole thing. It can be part of it for now, right? I started delegating by buying somebody's at 2 hours of a virtual assistant per week. That's how I started. I could afford 2 hours. Because with that 2 hours, I put 2 hours of my time into finding more deals, building partnerships. You can buy all of you that are here can buy 2 hours of a virtual assistant to support you, a bookkeeper to support you, and you can really grow your business. Love it. There's a lot about delegation. We should do an entire training on
Yes.
delegation, Liz.
Yes, that's really the.
All right, let's
All
go.
right.
Let's go next.
All right.
So here's what we have prepared for you. Is it you, Liz? They're going to talk
That's
about
okay.
assignment.
Yeah, I was going to do this, but that's okay.
Go
For
ahead.
it. You're on
Sorry.
a roll if you want.
I'm
But yeah, so what's really important to everything we do at InvestHer is about moving the needle. And the last thing we want to do is just kind of leave you like, okay, good luck with that, thumbs up. So we have an assignment. It's called the Freedom Gap. And we're going to put it in the chat box on how to download it. Very easy, but it's 4 steps, right? We're not 10, not 25, but 4 steps. And it's going to help you move the needle, take small action so that you can really get a sense on what's draining your time and energy and, quite honestly, money, so you can buy more time back. That's the key.
Absolutely. And don't freak out if you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this right now. We will send you an email with the recording and with the link there
Yes.
as well. We highly encourage you to follow those steps. You are curious about where your time is going. We also have a free resource for all of you. This is a quick quiz that really will point it out where your time is going and what do you need to do about it. I will put the link over there as well. And we're looking like Christmas today, Liz. We have more.
Well, actually, we got red here too, right? So
There we go. We have a masterclass series that I'm really excited about. We're starting in November.
next
And
week.
I'm going to put next week, November, next week. And I encourage you to come because today we just touched the surface. During this master class, we're going to do the work with you. So working. We're going to do the work. So it's a 4-part master class. We're going to determine a few things. Where is your time actually going? What do you need to do about it? What is the sequence that you need to do? And you're going to leave with a 90-day plan for you to execute. Many times we don't know which one comes first. We get overwhelmed and we do nothing about it. So let me break down for you each of the sessions so you understand how we're going to tackle. The first session is called the Freedom Gap. We're going to first protect your time. We're going to look at your calendar, how you evaluate your time, how you spend your time, and really put protection, guardrails, so you can really expedite that. Then we're going to go to the 4 freedom levers. What's going on in your business? How can you simplify it and not get things more complicated? And what can we do in autopilot? Again, it's all about making a process to fire yourself. Then now it's time to expedite, right? The freedom ladder. Fix the leaks. Don't be a bottleneck. And how can we implement simple systems that you can put it in autopilot for your business? And then we're going to leave here, the last session, you're going to leave with a 90-day plan that we're going to put together. Yours is going to be tailored to you. That's going to be different from every single person. So every single session is going to culminate at the end on a 90-day structure plan for you guys to implement. So you're laser focused on what needs to be done first and how. So if you want to join, we put the link over here and we're going to be able to go through the mindset, right? Yes, but I can do this, but all of this, we're going to be able to have more time to discuss during all those 4 sessions. So the QR code is there, and I'm going to put one more time here, the masterclass link. Encourage all of you to join. We're starting next week. Before we go, put it on the chat. What is your takeaway for today? What did you think that? Oh, that hit me hard. What are your takeaways? I want to make sure you guys are alive still.
One quick takeaway.
One quick takeaway. Yes, Amy. Be curious. What else, ladies? Are you alive? They're like, I'm typing.
That's great,
Awesome.
Christine. Momentum will build more momentum. Small things will lead to bigger things. Don't buy more property until you optimize what you have. Jacqueline, that should be shouted from the rooftops. It's not shouted enough in our space of more doors and more properties. So I love that. Fire yourself. That is the truth.
Yes, isn't it beautiful? And we don't feel guilt. Every time I fire myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to have a cup of tea to celebrate that. Not because I'm incompetent, because I earned that. That is the ultimate goal for all of you.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Ladies, thank you so much for participating here with us today. I hope this was helpful. Please execute the assignment. Go to our Facebook group if you have questions. Tag Liz and I if you need more support so we can tackle it together every time that you get stuck.
Yes. We can't wait to see you next week for the masterclass
Awesome.
series. Bye, everyone.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.